Alright guys, so let's welcome along Rapid Pixel Racing. We're here today with the Dutch Grand Prix. So we just finished their 30-minute practice session. See the fastest time was a 1:10.1. Let's see if they're gonna actually be doing better than that here at qualifying. So a lot of 1:11s and 1:12, some very competitive lap times there during our qualifying session. Let's see how much these guys can do a repeat here at qualifying. So we're in Q1 right now. Our 18 minutes has just begun to count down, and we're just we actually have quite a few drivers heading on track already, as they're just in a bit of a hurry to just get this started and just make some lap times get in here and just warm the track up. So let's see what everyone is up to on track at the moment. We got 18 drivers in this session, so it should be quite an eventful race, especially here in the Netherlands. For the Dutch GP, it's always an exciting race here, especially with the way the track is. It's so fast paced, even though there are so many turns around. It's a lot of fun to drive. I've actually been enjoying it myself since this game actually came out with this track, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch a race here again. I think we haven't had one here since I don't know, maybe just like a few months ago when the game actually came out, because everyone was doing a race there because it was just at the start of most of their seasons. But I think it should be quite interesting to see another race here as well. So we're going to be getting some lap times being posted here pretty shortly, as soon as everyone finishes their out lap and gets to the hot lap. And yeah, it should be fun. So let's keep an eye out and see what kind of lap times we're about to see here. So definitely we're going to be seeing a lot of purple sectors for the time being, as everyone is just about to make their first lap. We don't have an official lap time in as yet, but let's just have a look and see who's going to be the first car to put a lap time in here. Remember guys, we are working with custom teams on this one with the multiplayer cars. We'll have a go. Oh, that was Booker Bronco, yes, losing the rear end just a little bit there. Of course, he hasn't, let's see, I don't know if he's begun his hot lap as yet. Actually, it does seem he has. So he's messed that one up, just wasting one lap on those tires already. So he's going to have another go at it. We got Hot Soldier with a 1:12 so far as our fastest time. We got John with a 1:15. And there goes Irez with a 1:11. So getting much closer to that 1:10 as we continue to go. We're just in qualifying one, so interesting to see time getting there already, as everyone is trying to be as competitive as they can. Alright, so we got Boca Bronco going on another hot lap here. So let's see how he did finish his lap, 1:26. Let's see if he's going on another one. He does seem to be going on another one here. He's probably going to have to try and improve on that pretty soon. Look at that Saf going here. Let's see what he's up to at the moment. Seems to be on a pretty fast lap. We're going to have a look at him from the overhead cam, and let's see how he finishes this lap. Of course, we're going to notice some drivers doing their hot laps on the soft tires, and some guys are going to just be out there trying a few different tricks with these medium tires just to see how well they actually work. Because they do have 3 qualifying sessions to run through here, provided they can make it to qualifying 2 and then make it all over to qualifying 3, which is what everyone is going to be aiming for here, because you don't want to be stuck down at the back, especially the start here at Netherlands. It is such a fast track. You just want to be up there on the front row and just to get the best start and get away from everyone else, leaving a gap between the car behind you. And that is a Saf. A 1:10.6 goes up into P2. Chubb just did a 1:10.5. 1:10's better than Asaf's time. So pretty interesting. We got the 1:10s all the way in qualifying 1 already. So it's going to be quite more interesting to see what's going to happen in qualifying 3, where everyone is going to be pushing a lot more harder than this. Let's see what Scott is up to, as he is currently in sector 2, I think, going now. Actually, no, he's about to get to sector 2. Let's see if he can make a purple sector 1 here. And no, does not, but does seem to be on a pretty good time on his outlap, so not pushing it as much. I'm gonna get back to him as soon as he gets into that hot lap there. Got Gleggy going here. I think he's in sector 1. Yeah, he is going. We're just gonna watch what these guys do at least a little bit for qualifying 1. I think during qualifying 2 we're just gonna talk a little bit about the teams, being this is the first stream we're actually doing for RPR, and just to get to know the drivers and the league a little bit. So Gleggy does a purple sector 1 so far. Honestly, I thought he missed that with the rear end just a little bit there, but he still got the sector 1 time in purple. Let's see how well the sector 2 is going to go here, actually, though. As he's about to go across that line, and no purple sector 2s, but let's see if he can finish. Oh, and he invalidates jumping that curb just a little too much there. Let's see who else is currently running here. Seems I might have Booker Bronco on another lap. Actually, no, I don't think he doesn't seem to be on that much of a fast lap going here. I think Scotty's begun his hot lap here right now, so we're going to follow him over on the overhead cam, and let's see what he's up to. Alright, so that's a purple sector 1 there from Scott. He did a pretty good lap on that one. Currently in fifth of 111.1. Let's see what he's actually gonna finish this lap here as well and go on a faster lap. So just did a 111.1. So on another lap, got a purple sector 1 once again on it. But let's see if he can actually get a purple sector 2 and 3. I don't think he get a purple sector 2. It might have been green. But let's see where he finishes before we switch on to someone else here. That's what Johnny Stokes is about to put in here as he goes P1 at 110.070. So a provisional pole for this session so far. That's quite an interesting lap there. We're just so close to getting into the 109s here at Zandvoort. So let's see what the rest of the field can do. We got Can Be Touched, we got Carl, we got Zengen, we got Shorty, and we got Ford yet to make lap times here. Let's see what these guys are up to right now. We got Can Be Touched getting out of the pits here right now. So looking forward to see what kind of lap time he's about to put in. And that's Shorty with a 109.7, our first 109 of the session here, and quite interesting to actually have that in Q1. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see how competitive our Q3 drivers are going to be whoever make it all the way there. We're going to have a look at that by the time we get there, actually. So, getting close to the end of this session, we got just under 8 minutes remaining now. We just 3 drivers yet to make any sort of lap times, at least supposed to in here, with no DNFs in the qualifying one so far, which is pretty good to see. So let's get back here. I think we have Can We Touch on a fast lap at the moment. So let's see what sort of time he's about to put in. As you can see, the onboard view does prove how fast these cars are moving around Zandvoort here. So he just did a purple sector 1 but messed up and invalidated that lap. He's going to have to give it another go again. I think he was on for a pretty good lap, but that was already messed up. No point trying to save that even there. Alright, let's see. We got Ford. I think he's getting out of the pits now, probably there. So some very competitive lap times. We got a 109 going all the way to our worst lap time is a 114 from Zengen there. I think he's definitely going to be trying to improve on that, as he is trying right now, I think. Anyway, let's see if he's going to be able to make a better lap time than that. We got James MD running here. I think maybe on a hot lap. I'm not sure. No, I think he just finished a lap, so he's not going on that. We're just about 6 minutes remaining now. We got Booker Bronco here in 13th. 111.8. He's done 4 laps on these tires already. Let's switch it off tires for now. Oh, and that didn't end too well there. Let's see, we got Ford finally getting out on track again here to try and make a lap time. We got Cammy Touch back into the pits. I think he has at least one more try to get a lap time in here. He seems to be doing pretty well in Sector 1, just messing up his Sector 2, maybe Sector 3 time, I think, in some instances he's tried during the course of the session to actually get a really good time in. Because definitely he's going to be left out of qualifying 2 if he can get a time better than, I would say, maybe 13th here. And I think he just messed that lap up there a bit, so he's going to have to give that another go. If possible, we got Can Be Touch getting out again. So let's see when he finishes the out lap and get started on the hot lap, if he's able to make a time on this occasion here. I do like the livery on his car. Some interesting colors. Oh, guys, my apologies about that. So yeah, we're back into the session. Short is still holding P1 here right now at a 109.7. The only 109 in the session. We're just coming to the end of qualifying one now with just about a minute remaining. So whoever is currently running lap will be able to finish here. Not a lot of time left. I see Scotty got himself up into P4 there now. Johnny Stokes in P3, and Can Be Touch finally made his lap time and got all the way up to P2 at a 110.011. Very close to Johnny Stokes a few hundreds off. So not too bad of set of lap times that we have here. Very competitive now. It's 109s going to 112s. So I'd say way more competitive lap times we have here now. I think we're going to be quite surprised with the Q3 lap times that we're going to be seeing here from this league. So we're going to be getting to qualifying 2 very short, which I think, let's see, we got 18 drivers in this session. So how many will go over to qualifying 2? I think it might be about 14, not 15. Usually it's about 50. It's usually 15 drivers going over to qualifying 2 when we have a full grid of 20. But when it's 18, it's usually not 15. Usually we go down maybe to about 14. So Boca Bronco might be in a dangerous spot there right now if that is about to happen. Not sure. There are some instances where, I don't know, the game just freaks out and just doesn't do it correctly. But let's see how many drivers will be making it into qualifying 2, as that timer is now out and the 2 minute 50 something seconds remaining is just for whoever is currently running a lap, which I don't think is anyone else except maybe for Gleggy and John down there. So let's have a look if they are running. And Gleggy is about to go across the line. John went into the pits, and let's see what he does. Doesn't improve on his 112 there though. Alright guys, so let's have a look at our results for qualifying 1. So we got Shorty with a 109.7. Fastest lap of that session. Can Be Touch went into P2. Johnny Stokes took P3. Scotty P4. We got Chubb in P5. Asaf in 6. James Owl in 7. We got Avi in 8. Ford in 9th. We got Iras 10. I got Zinjan in 11. James MD in 12. We got Edger in 13. And Carl in 14. Missing a few going down, but let's see if that 14 is going to be able to make it over there. I didn't pay attention how many drivers actually made it over, but we'll have a look in just a second. Alright, so there we have it. So we do have 15 drivers making it over. Ford barely scraping himself into qualifying 2 here. He's going to have to work a little bit harder in this session to just make it over to Q3. So we got 15 minutes for qualifying 2 now, and when we're finished with this we got another 12 minutes for qualifying 1 before we actually get into the race session. Of course, remember, this is qualifying 2, so this is going to be a crucial point in the qualifying session where drivers are going to have to start the race. That is for the top 10 at least. Whoever make it to qualifying 3, they're going to have to start the race on whatever tires they make the fastest lap time in on this session here. So they're going to have to be a little bit cautious about how many laps they're actually going to be doing on tires. Drivers usually tend to just do 1 hot lap per a set of tires here, just to make sure that they have the most to use out of those tires when they do start the race with them. Because those tires definitely going to be at least 3 laps down. 1 lap for your out lap, 1 lap when you did your hot lap, and then 1 lap to get the in lap back into the pits. That's about 3 laps wearing off those tires, and you have to use them in the start of the race. It is mandatory. Whether it's a soft or medium, you're going to have to do it. If you did mess up your first lap by invalidating and then did a hot lap on the second go, it means you're probably just wasting another lap on the tires. But if it is needed just to make it into qualifying, sure, drivers do tend to do it. Of course, most drivers will do maybe about 2-3 laps on a tire and then just let that be, or just some. As we can see, some drivers are going to be on the mediums right now, and some of these guys are going to be running on softs. I think most drivers currently are trying to run on softs here, just to make the fastest possible lap time in, to just guarantee themselves a chance to get into qualifying 3. So we might take tires off for just a little bit in just a second, because we're just going to keep an eye to see the lap times that we're going to be getting here. And when we do get to that final results table down at the end, then we'll be able to see, okay, what tires these guys did their fastest laps on, which is going to be what they're going to be starting the race on. It's going to be competitive for the top 10, because when they do get into qualifying 3, they can use whatever tires they want, which everyone uses the softs, and just make the fastest time on them. Use to do how many laps you want. It doesn't matter at that point, because you've already qualified for your starting tire. So let's see who's going to be making it for top 10 getting into qualifying 3. I think we got 14 drivers currently out on track. It's only Johnny Stokes to get out yet and make lap time, and everyone is just pushing this as much as they can. We got Edger with a 1:14.1, not a very good lap time for qualifying 2. I think we're expecting to see the 110s and 111s and so a few 112s here for qualifying 2, as we're starting to see right now. We had Chubb with a 109.7 already, pushing it as much as he can. Those mediums getting in some 110, so that's actually pretty impressive here. We got Canby Touch with a 109.5, 210s better than Chubb's time, so not bad at all right now, even for qualifying 2. So just imagine what we're going to be seeing for qualifying 3. How possible it is that we're going to make it to the 108s. I'm not quite sure as yet, but I think we're going to get very close to that point, because these drivers are going to push much harder than they are right now. This doesn't determine start position for top 10. The qualifying 3 is what's going to dictate that. So for 11 to 15 at the end of this session, they're going to have to just start right there. Alright, so let's see. We got actually just a little bit too much of car. Let's go down. Let's see who's next. I think Scotty and Carl are currently running. Let's see what Scotty's time is going to be here. As he's about to go across, and he goes P7, 110.9. Not too bad at all, keeping himself in the top 10 for now. And let's see, we got Carl coming around. Let's see what sort of lap time he's about to bring in. He's currently running in sector 3 now. Just enter sector 3, just about to finish in just about 20 seconds or so. Actually less than 20 seconds, about 15 seconds. Alright, so Carl goes P11 only with a 111.4. He's going to have to improve on that time. I don't think the 111s are where you want to be in this session here. You got to just make a 110 or better right now to actually keep yourself there. I think a 109 is like definitely a safe zone for lap times in qualifying 2 here right now, with the competitive lap times we got going on. And we got Johnny Stokes on the lap right now. Let's see what he's up to. We're going to follow his very colorful car from an overhead view. And I think he might have messed that up there, so let's switch it on back. Oh, and James trying for another lap probably here, but he just messed that up. Let's see what James MD is up to. That was James Owl. So I reckon most drivers are going back into the pits, but let's see. James MD going for another lap on these tires. Oh no, just finished another lap there. So he did the second lap on the tires and did a 110.6, put himself up into P5. So James MD doing a pretty good lap there, entering that save point. Still our save point is a 110 at the moment. I got Booker Bronco with a 111.5. That's not going to be good enough to keep him into going into qualifying 3. He's going to have to improve on that lap time somehow or the other. So I reckon a few drivers who didn't do pretty good lap time on the mediums are going to try for a better lap time on the softs, since they would be faster for them, at least a second and a half faster, I would say. Let's just put it about a second faster in this case. So just a few drivers currently on track right now. We got just under 8 minutes left in qualifying 2, and I'm quite sure everyone else is going to be getting back out here. And Johnny Soak just put himself up into P3, 110.1, with pushing Zenjian down to P4 now, so not too bad of a time there. Oh, we got James Al begin another hot lap here. Let's see if he can improve his time from a 111.086, because that's a very dangerous spot. He is in 10th right now. I'm quite sure everyone else behind him is going to try for a better time, so he's definitely going to want to get out of that zone and get maybe into a very low 110 or at the moment here. And yes, we will see drivers tend to lose the rear end of cars just pushing this hard on laps here. Just try to get the best time possible. It is so easy to make a mistake, just a split second, and your car can actually be into the wall and DNF the session. But thankfully, we haven't seen a DNF in the session so far. We went through qualifying 1 pretty well. We're in qualifying 2 right now. Just 6 minutes remaining. Not a lot of time left. So guys are going to have just one chance more to go and get this done. And we just had a purple sector 2 from James Owl there. Of course, remember guys, if the track map lights up purple on a particular sector, track is dependent on each sector, so if we have purple on a particular sector there, it just means that that driver just did the fastest time in that sector, which means they're on for a pretty good lap, as he is, and he just put himself into P4 with a 110.1. I think that'll do it for him. Definitely should be able to help him get into qualifying 3. But then with the competitive lap times we see here, you never know what can happen. I think I'm seeing some minor drizzle on track, which is going to make it a lot more interesting for a qualifying 3 here. If it's definitely going to be coming down with the drizzle, that track temperature is starting to drop now. It's going to be way more difficult to get a good lap time in with that happening. So drivers are going to want to be a little bit careful, whoever is currently running on track. And yep, definitely it is starting to drizzle. It might continue all the way into qualifying 3, which is going to change things up just a little bit. To see who's better at driving in the wet there. Let's see what Avi is up to here right now. Seems to be on another hot lap going. And seems to be having some trouble with traction here right now. Yep, definitely we're going to have some traction issues on track here right now. That rain is starting to come down. Definitely will affect performance of the cars. You're not going to be able to push as much as you would like. And there we have it. Booker Bronco losing that rear end there once again. He hasn't been able to make a better lap time than a 111.5. He might be left out of qualifying 3 if he's not able to get himself in. He just needs to get a good lap going. So he's going to have to try this again. Of course, becoming more difficult for him to do so with the track starting to get wet, that these right tires are not going to perform as well as they would about 10 minutes ago. And he is going for another hot lap. Let's follow overhead and let's have a look at what kind of times he'll be able to make here. Be impressive to see if he can still do a purple sector 1 here. With conditions as they are on track. Oh, and just messing that rear end up just a bit. I think he's having some problems with this car around Zandvoort here today. and he has retired from the session. So that's going to be it for Boca Bronco there. Not going to be making it into qualifying 3. It should be Can Be Touched, Chubb, Johnny Stokes, James Al, Zengen, Shorty, James MD, Asaf, Ford, and Scotty going into qualifying 3, as I think everyone else is finished running except for Edger there. He's at 112 right now. If he can improve on this final few minutes that we have here and get himself into the top 10, he would push Scotty out of qualifying 3 there. But I'm not sure if that's going to be possible for him. Let's see what kind of lap he's running and we get on board. Doesn't seem to be on a very fast lap here right now with time running out on him. There's only so much time left in the session. He's just about 2.5 minutes, so not a lot of time here. If he's going to be trying for another lap on these tires, he's going to have to do it here now. Of course, with the conditions on track as they are, that's going to make it pretty difficult. I don't think anyone else is going to try it and run in this wet condition because they're not just going to be able to make a faster time with the track starting to get wet. And there we have race control has disabled DRS. So with no DRS to assist in your hot lap, it's definitely going to make it a lot harder to get a really good lap time in to get as competitive as a 110 and 111 here to just make it into qualifying 3. So I think that's going to be it for all drivers here. Most drivers are going to start to just retire in the session so we can just move on to qualifying 3, because I don't think anyone else is going to be able to get out and make a faster lap time here. Okay, so I think that's going to be it here for our qualifying 2. So it seems it's going to be Can Be Touched with his 109.5 fastest lap of this session. Then Chubb, Johnny Stokes, we got James Al, Zengen, Shorty, we got James MD, Asaf, Ford, and Scotty. Those are going to be our 10 drivers going into qualifying 3. And we got Avi, Carl, Boca Bronco, Irez, and this is Edge. They are going to be out starting from 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15 as they are there right now. And I think I left the setting on fitted tires. I'm not sure if that was fitted or fastest, but we're going to have it. There we have it now. So only drivers starting on the mediums are going to be Shorty and Asaf there. They're going to be the only 2 drivers starting on the medium tires. Everyone else in the top 10 will be starting on softs, and from 11 going down to 18, they're going to have a free choice of tires of whatever they want to start on. So that's going to be interesting to see what choice they're going to be making here. With just 2 drivers starting on the mediums, this will be an interesting play and strategy to see where these 2 end up on qualifying 3 results. So we're going to have to just keep a bit of an eye on that as we're about to enter into qualifying 3 now. This is going to be a very short session, only 12 minutes, and then we get straight into the race session. And there we have it. As I said, we're going to have rain in qualifying 3. This is going to be a little bit of a different of a session here right now. We're not going to be seeing any 108s because the current conditions on track won't allow drivers to use DRS and neither make such a fast lap time, because they're going to probably have to run this on the intermediate tires here because it is coming down just a little bit. Hopefully we don't get too bad to get to the wet tires, but let's see. Yep, definitely everyone's going to be running on the intermediate tires here. So we're going to keep tires off because I know everyone is going to run on the inters. I think Zengen, nope, not Zengen, someone else is out front. That is James Owl, he's running out front. And this rain seems to be coming down a lot. Actually, let's put tires back on. Let's see if anyone is going to be switching to the wet tires at any point during this session here. I don't think they might try that though. I don't think it's that wet. But you never know. Let's just have a look and see how this is going to go here in terms of lap times and how much traction these guys actually have on track. Remember, the racing line is not going to be too much there because we just started to have the rain come down at the end of qualifying 2 and now getting to start the qualifying 3. Just now 10.5 minutes remaining. This timer is going to count down pretty fast. These guys are going to have to get out here in whatever conditions we have on track and try to get a pretty decent lap time in for the start of the race. However, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, especially with the conditions on track. So I'm not sure how well their car setups are going to work in the wet here. I think we're having a dry race though. I haven't checked the Discord as yet, but I assume we're probably having a dry race because it's going to be quite more interesting if we have a wet race here, especially with drivers. I'm quite sure everyone brought a dry setup to this track. And let's just switch that to the overhead view and have a look and see how this is going to end for him. Oh, and I see Can Be Touch is already out of the session. He's crashed it out somewhere just before the pit entrance there. I can see on track his car is there. So he's definitely probably going to be starting in 10th. We should start to see some lap times coming here pretty shortly as we got James Al getting around, getting back to the finish line here. Let's see what he's about to bring in. And he does a 1:19. So let's see who else is up for making a lap time here. Oh, we got Zenjam at a 1:20. So quite a few times now. So we got two 119s. We got James out with a 119, our Chubbs with a 119.5, Johnny Stokes 120.2, Zengen 120.3, and Asaf 122.5. And someone just went in the middle. I think that was Scott there, 119.9. And let's see, someone else just went up. James out just did a 119.060. Not too bad. Ford at a 120.5. He's the one that went in. We got James MD yet to make a lap time here. Let's see where his time is going to come in. Okay, so let's see what's happened here. So James MD just did a 123.3. Of course, Can Be Touch won't be able to make a time here. As I said, he's going to have to start in 9th. And Ford is now out of the session as well. I've just missed that. And it seems he went off just at the same point that Can Be Touch went off there as well. Because I see his car is stuck there. If you can see a red dot on the yellow portion of the track. And we got Zengen getting back out on track again. So our best time so far, 119.060. Second with Chubbs in a 119.5. Johnny Stokes 110 slower to 119.6. Okay, so just 5 minutes remaining in qualifying three here now. So we got a few 119s in the session with then we got Zenji with a 120, 121, and then another 121 from James MD. So still some pretty competitive lap times, even for the wet session here. It's going to prove to be quite an interesting start to this race. I got James out getting out for another outlap there right now. He's going to try and improve on that time, just to make sure that he can start there in P1. Doesn't want to be starting anywhere other than the front row right now. Short is still on that front row, but just behind James in 190.3 in second. Okay, so just 3 minutes remaining now. So our lap time still stands as they are. Now Scotty has taken over the lead here though with at 119.029. James Owl now in second, 119.060. That's a few thousands off of each other there. So that's actually very competitive with everyone being on the same level there. Oh, and Chubbs just is at 118.9. Just raising the bar now, putting himself in a whole new category there. So 118.9 is a time to beat here. It's about 1/10 better than Scotty's time would say, but still getting into the 118s is pretty impressive here for the wet track. So Scotty now in second, James out in third. We got Shorty in fourth, and another outlap right now, and Johnny Stokes in fifth. Currently, Zengen sixth. Ford is out with his 120.5, but let's see, it might stand for the time being as Asaf is a 121.3, James MD with a 121.9. They do have a chance of making a better time and getting ahead here. It does seem to be Apologies there, guys. Have to just step up for just a second. So let's see where we stand. Just under a minute left in qualifying 3. And let's see if anything's changed. We still got Chubb in P1. James Al now in P2 with a 119.002. Man, that is so close and just so very competitive. So I think we're going to have a pretty exciting race here with this group of guys. So let's see. Chubb P1, James Al P2, Scotty P3, Johnny Stokes now P4, Shorty down to P5, Zengen down to 6, Asaf down to 8, and Shorty just went up to P1 at 118.7. That's an insane lap time. I think the track has dried out just a little bit in terms of the racing line. So as long as these guys can keep on that racing line, they can make a pretty good lap time. Of course, timer is running out, so not a lot of time to actually do this, unless you just time it right to get your lap time in. And that might just be it for most of our drivers here. I think someone else just moved up. I think that was, who was that? Johnny Stokes moved up into P2. So I gotta say, that is quite impressive there. Okay, so I gotta say that was actually a pretty interesting full qualifying session from this league. It's not a lot of leagues that we usually have do the full qualifying session. Most leagues will tend to do the short qualifying session. Nothing wrong with that. It is just a little more pressure on drivers because it's just 18 minutes in just one session to get your lap time right to get for the start of the race. Of course, with the full qualifying session, we have Q1, Q2, and Q3. Or Q1 session has everyone race, trying to make a lap time in it, and only a portion of that will get over to Q2. Usually out of a grid of 20 drivers, we get 15 drivers going over to Q2, and from that session you have to make a best time as you can, and then just our top 10 drivers go on to Q3, and they have to start the race on the tires that they did the fastest time in Q2, not Q3. So Q3 they can just go all out and push as hard as they want and just make the best lap time to get a better start. Of course, it never used to be like that before. It used to be different. It used to be qualifying 3 lap times is what you usually used to start the race in before. But of course, things have changed over the years. Alright, so there we have it. Shorty starting on pole position here with Johnny Stokes in second, Chubb in P3 at the second row of the grid, alongside with James, Scotty, and Zengen on the third row of the grid, and Asaf and Ford, fourth row. And then we have James MD and Can Be Touched on the fifth row of the grid there. So it's going to be quite an interesting race. Quite a few on 18s, 119s. I think it's going to be an excellent start to this race. We're going to try and keep the overhead cam on the well, I guess on most of the grid as we can as we go around for lap 1. So just to observe if there are going to be any incidents on the start of the race as we're about to get started here right now. Everyone already lined up on the grid there, and we are just waiting for everyone to select their race setup with strategy, and then we're about to get started here. Alright guys, here we go. That's 5 lights and they're off. Let's see who gets a better start. We're going to put a few stats on for position change, as we got a few positions changing around at the moment. Let's see if everyone's getting around smoothly around turn 1. It does seem to be happening so far. Quite a smooth start. I haven't seen any major incidents. Someone's been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location for some weird reason. I got James out getting very close to Chubb's car there right now, chasing him down, trying to get P2. Of course, Johnny Stokes just behind him coming as well. And Scotty, everyone just very close together. The gaps are not far off. Nobody getting over half a second away from each other right now. See where Scotty is at right now, guys. Being chased down by Zengen and can't be touched down at the back there. Trying to catch up with Johnny Stokes and James Al out in front. We got Avi getting very close to someone here. Let's see if he's able to get by. Oh, and we got Ford off track. Getting back on track there right now. Someone into the wall there. I think that's Can Be Touched. That's falling down the Arda there now. Got a four-way battle going around the final turn. Definitely do some contact between these four cars. We got Can Be Touched and John out of the race right now. We got a VSC, a virtual safety car for that incident there. Definitely a lot of debris on track that's going to have to be cleared, as everyone is currently going to have to reduce speed by at least 40% for just under the safety car just to avoid getting a penalty. Hopefully the patch that we had released today is fixing some of the issues that we have with illegal penalties being handed out to drivers. But let's see. So we got Shorty started P1 still there. We got Chubb and James Al gaining one position each. Johnny Stokes lost two. We got Scotty and Zengen right where they started. James MD gained 2 positions. Avi gained 3. Asaf lost 2. Carl has we're showing the penalties there as well. We got Carl gained 2 positions. Iraz gained 3. We are back racing again, and let's see what's going to happen out front, because we do have quite a few close gaps. We're gonna get that to tires right now to see where we're at. Actually, let's take it off for now and just keep it on there. So I'm assuming that penalty thing is a new thing they've added in on the update here today. DRS is now enabled. We're on lap 3 of the Dutch Grand Prix. So 4 out of the race there as well. 3 drivers are now out of this race. We got 15 drivers remaining. We're gonna have to work with that to get down to the end, as we got Johnny Stokes and Avi going at it here. Johnny Stokes trying to get up into P6. Let's see if he's able to get close enough to get a gap going for an overtake here. We got Carl getting very close to Iraz there as well as who else is out front? We got Shorty, Chubb and James Al out front, chasing each other for the lead of the race here right now. Let's have a look at what's happening with James out front. James out as he's chasing down Chubb and Shorty, getting very close here right now. We're going to try and keep the camera view on all 3 of them at the same time, just in case we do have an overtake happen. We got Shorty and Scotty, both are teammates. They're running 1st and 4th right now. So some good points for that team. We got Chubb with a 113.1, fastest lap of the race so far. It's quite interesting that the leaderboard now shows the penalties. In case you guys are wondering, it's the white and black little flag looking thingy that's just next to the leaderboard that shows who has a penalty and who doesn't right now. Very competitive racing out in front between Shorty, Chubb and James Al right now. We got Scotty and P4 trying to catch up to these guys to get in on that battle right now for a pole position lead of the race. But not just getting a gap. He has to get under a second to actually get here at the moment. Let's see, we got Booker Bronco down there in 11. I see him getting very close to Gleggy. Let's see what he's up to right now. Oh, and we got Gleggy down into the pits. Does he have any damage? Let's switch on to tires on. Let's see what's happening here on track. So we got some drivers going onto the hards already. It's a 36 lap race. We're already on lap 5 and we got some drivers switching onto the hards. They might be thinking about going to the end of the race on them. Not sure what the strategy is in terms of that at the moment with these guys here. Gap has now increased here. Let's get our back out in front where the real battle still is happening between our top 2 drivers, Shorty, Chubb, and James Owl. P1, 2, and 3. Scotty is now under a second behind James Owl. He's caught up. And he's going to be chasing down fighting. So it's a 4-car battle for the lead of the race right now. Scotty is trying to get in on this here as well. James now is getting pretty close to Chubb's car right now. He's going to have to be careful, because he's going to have to be watching both the car in front and the car behind to maintain his pace right now. Scotty is still under a second behind James out, still chasing him down, trying to fight at least for P3 before he goes any further up in the field right now. A few closer gaps down at the back there. We got Booker Bronco is half a second behind Carl. He's in 10th right now running. Let's see if he's going to be able to work his way through the field. Now our top 4 here is going to be quite interesting, because we got Shorty running on mediums, whilst we got Chubb, James Owl, and Scotty. They're all running on the soft tires here, and none of them have actually made a pit stop as yet. So it's going to be quite interesting, because it's definitely going to be that Shorty is going to be able to run a longer stint here, and Chubb, James Owl, and Scotty are going to have to pit within a few laps of each other. So let's see how that's going to go and who's going to make the first pit stop in terms of this. I think they're going to all be watching each other to see who's going to be pitting first, and just to try and get a better outlap and going. Johnny Soaks now take the fastest lap at 1:13, so pretty good lap time for him. Everyone locking their tires up just a slight bit as getting around these turns just to avoid over braking themselves, and just to make sure they actually brake enough. Scotty is still pretty close behind and coming, so definitely a threat to Shorty down there in P1. He could be losing the lead of the race to any one of these guys here. We got James MD getting very close to Carl there now, and Booker Bronco is now down into 11th. He's lost a position now, trying to get a gap of under a second to behind James MD. And that is Hud's Sojo, I think, getting another penalty there. Yeah, James MD getting very close to Carl right now, allowed to go alongside him on the pit straight, has his DRS on, does have his overtake on as well, and is going side by side with him into turn 1. Looks like James MD is going to come out of this into P9, Carl down to P10 now. Booker Bronco still trying to catch up back, he's 1.2 seconds behind. As Booker Bronco is trying to get a gap under a second, but he's just not getting there. Having a difficult time on this track for some reason here. And Carl is now starting to lose a few tenths every sector here at the moment, I would say. As James MD is trying to get a gap going on him to get further out in front and chase after Erez there, who's about 4.4 seconds ahead of him. Let's get her back out in front and see what's happening. I think guys are trying to build a gap on each other here, as Scotty is so close, as well as James so close to that 1 second gap. They're going to be out of DRS if the gap does go a second and over when they get through that detection point. Without that DRS, it is going to be a bit of a hamper on them, because It does actually help them to chase each other around this track and try to get a gap for an overtake here. It's not going to be easy, especially with the competitive lap times that we've seen these guys have. It's definitely going to be tricky to get around. They might have to try and get each other on the pit stops here, but let's see how that's going to go. We're already on lap 9. This race seems to be going through faster than we expected. We're already on lap 9 here, so just about 27 laps more to go, I would say. Of course, you got to remember, guys, lap times here are shorter. We do about a minute 10 to a minute 12 seconds around this track. Race pace time, I think, will be about a minute 12 at most. So we got a few drivers going into the pits now. James, Al, and Scotty have decided to pit, while Shorty and Chubb have stayed out. Of course, Shorty is expected to stay out here, but Chubb has stayed out. This has put Zengen up into P3. A few more drivers down in the back, I think, are pitting. I know I got Johnny Stokes getting into the pit there as well. Going on to hard. Scotty went on to the hard as well, trying to go to the end. James Al, however, went on to the mediums. Pretty interesting play, and let's see if that's actually going to be able to push him all the way down to the end. I think it's quite possible he can make it to the end of the race on the mediums, but he's going to have to really be conservative about the tires and just watch how much he actually push on these tires and how close he's going to keep to the car in front of him. So we got Chubb is the only guy chasing down our race leader right now, Shorty. And even though Chubb is on the faster tires here, Shorty has been able to keep himself on the lead of the race for the past 10 laps going. So gotta say, Shorty doing an excellent job of driving here. And Chubb just actually, I would say he's still doing a pretty good job, just keeping under within the 1 second gap of Shorty's car to keep getting DRS. Switching this back to Book Bronco down in the back. He is on our second behind car. Let's see if he's able to catch up. And it is true that locking up tires on the braking will actually eat these tires way a little bit faster than expected. So drivers have to tend to be careful about that. Of course, they're driving with the ABS off, which is actually causing that to happen there. So they're gonna have to try and just be as careful as they can not to lock the tires up and create a flat spot. That's definitely going to hamper their racing here. Getting on board with Booker Bronco here right now. Let's see if he's able to get past Carl. Chasing him down, still 10th and 11th here. Going a little bit wide there, I would say. Carl seems to be getting a better exit off of these turns right now. Let's get back out front. We got James getting very close to behind Avi here. And using his overtake and DRS, allow him to go alongside him into turn 1. Does the fastest lap in doing so. James All with a 1:12. Fastest lap of the race so far. That's race pace time so far. So as we said, it takes about a minute 10 to a minute 12 seconds to get around here. So with 36 laps, we're talking maybe about 40 minutes for a total race session here. And we're already on lap 12 to just about 30%, 35% of the race finish already. That's James up into P4 now. Avi down into P5. I got Erez chasing down Johnny Stokes right now. Let's see if he's able to break that gap further down and get a gap going to make an overtake here. Oh, we finally got Chubb into the pits. He's definitely going to be changing on to, let's see, maybe hards, and definitely so. He's going onto the hard tires to go to the end of the race here. So we got Shorty still in the lead of the race here right now, pushing as much as he can. And we got now Zengen is now up into P2. He's doing 12 lap on these soft tires, and he's going to have to pit here at some point. James Al now back up into P3 there. Alfie P4, chopped into P5 as he's come out of the pits. In front of Scotty, who's running P6 right now. Johnny Stokes in 7, Erez 8, James MD in 9th, and Carl in 10. Booker Bronco still there in 11th. He's pitting now, getting off those soft tires and trying to get onto a better, newer set of tires here. We got Edger in 12. We got Hot Sojo in 13, Gleggy in 14. We got Asaf out of this race, Ford out, Can Be Touched, and John all out of the race. 14 drivers just remain in this session here right now. I think our closest gap, let's see, we're following right now with Chubb as he's chasing down Avi for P4. He's on the fresher tires, of course, with Avi on those 12-lap old medium tires. They're definitely going to be feeling a little less grip on them. I think that was a bit of debris on track there, wasn't it not? Hopefully someone gets it off. We got Zengen now going into the pits and getting off of his medium tires. We're still waiting for Shorty to do his pit stop. Avi is yet to do a pit stop here as well. Alright, so we got Zengen back. Now he's out of the pits. He's into 6th, chasing down Scotty, who's running in 5th. Of course, his tires are relatively new there as well. As we're going to follow with Chubb here right now, as he's chasing down Avi, whose tires are 13 laps old on those meters. He's going to have to pit, as well as Shorty there. We still got Erez and Carl down in the back. They have to do a pit stop as well on those medium tires, which are now 13 laps old. Wondering if these guys are trying to push these tires so far that they can actually go to the softs to go down to the end of the race here. It's a possibility, but let's see how far they're actually going to push it right now. Shorty not wanting to give up the lead of the race. He's 13 seconds ahead of James Al right now, running in P1. But the tires are getting 14 laps only. They're getting pretty worn out, so he's going to have to think about what he's going to be doing in that case there. We got Chubb getting under half a second behind Avi right now, so definitely gaining some time off of him and putting him under some pressure on those worn out tires. I think there's some debris on track there still. Why is the marshal not removing it? I'm not sure. I think Chubb is about to go side by side with Avi, going past up into P3 right now. Clean overtake done, and Avi down into P4. So he's now going to be chasing after Shorty, who is running in front of him, who has pitted and is already back out in front, ahead by about 2.3 seconds. James now takes over the lead of the race, running on 5-lap old mediums. He definitely should be able to make it to the end of the race on those tires. We got Erez and Carl still yet to pit at the moment. So let's see if James Al can actually keep the lead of the race and if his strategy is going to work for him going all the way to the end here now, or if he's going to have to take a second pit stop. We're not sure as well. Avi has to pit at some point here. His tires are getting severely worn right now. Let's get on board and see if we can have a look how these tires are. Those rears are starting to go. We can see from the lines that we're seeing there. Let's see what's happening down in the back here. We got Scotty and Zengen getting very close to each other, as well as getting close to Avi there. So a good three-way battle going on for, I would say, for P4, because Avi has to pit at some point here, and then they're going to be fighting to get the Chubb, who is out in P3 about 3.3 seconds ahead. Avi is now into the pits, definitely going on to the hards there to go all the way to the end of the race. Strategy does play a big part of this race here. You gotta just be so careful as to what strategy you're really going to use, what tires you want to start your race on, how and when you're going to be taking your pit stops. So we got most of our drivers currently on our hard tires and going. We got Hot Sojo, he's been on there for 13 laps, so he pitted early in the race. So let's see how that works out for him. Edger there with 12 lap old hards as well. So those two guys are going to have to think whether those tires are going to take them to the end, or they're going to have to do a separate pit stop to get maybe onto softs to go down to the end there. Okay, so James Al continues to lead, Short in second, Chubb in third, Scotty running in P4. Of course, he has Zengen just under, just about half a second behind him actually here, chasing him down for P4 now. Zengen trying to take the inside just to try and get a better exit off of that turn to get a better go at Scotty here. Scotty seems to be getting away pretty fine at the moment though. He's going to be under a little bit of pressure here though. Because Zengen's tires are a few laps younger than his, I would say, fresher. So should have a bit of an advantage as Booker gets a 3-second penalty there. And we got Carl there. His tires are 17 laps old on those mediums. How is he pulling that off? I'm not sure as yet. Let's have a look at what his tires are going through. Those tires are way more worn, as you can see a little bit if you do have a look at the lines on them. That's a bit of a gap to the car in front and just about 6.8 seconds behind. He'll lose a few positions when he does pit, but he's going to have to think about pitting at some point here. Following on with Zengen and Scotty here now. We got a half a second gap going. Let's see if Zengen is able to get a move done on Scotty for P4. We got our race leader 1.3 seconds ahead of Shorty there in P2. And Chubb about 3.2 seconds behind Shorty. He's in P3 running. So a bit of a minor gap out in front between our top three drivers there. Scotty and Zengen just trying to fight it out here for P4 at the moment. This half a second gap has been going on for just a little bit of a few laps now. Let's see how much more they're actually going to continue with it, as we're on lap 19 right now. Just about, let's see, 17 laps more to go. Has been quite an exciting race, I got to say, for this afternoon. We've had the 30-minute practice session, we've had a full qualifying session, and now on to the 50% race. So qualifying was actually pretty interesting with the competitive lap times, which we're seeing why it is so. As I think someone was overtaking there for a second. I'm not sure what happened there. Or maybe that was a lap car, not sure. Yeah, so as I was saying, so we got some pretty competitive guys in the league, and it does show in terms of the way they are driving here right now, how close some of the gaps do get, and how hard it is to get a gap to do an overtake on here, because everyone is just so close into comparison with their driving skill. Scotty doing an excellent job though, trying to keep himself half a second ahead of Zengen. Zengen doing an excellent job of as keeping behind Scotty there and trying to keep under a second behind him to keep getting DRS. And we got Shorty now under a second behind James Al, who is currently leading the race on medium tires. And Shorty running on hard tires. Of course, his tires are much newer, so he might have a little bit more of an advantage trying to catch up to our race leader James Al there. And it's going to be a little bit of a battle happening for the lead of the race as we're about to get out there in front and have a look at that. Now let's see how that's going for these guys. As you can see, drivers are keeping on a very particular racing line going around this track, as Shorty seems to be gaining a few tenths here right now just under 0.4 of a second behind James Al. We got Zengen making up some time there on Scotty as well, trying to keep the gap under half a second now. And it seems Shorty might have lost just a few tenths and is now over a second with a gap behind James Al, as James seems to be gaining a little bit of time there right now. Getting back down to Zengen, let's see what he's up to, chasing down Scott. Is still under a second. He's keeping the gap and trying to case him down, but just not getting a gap to, he's not getting close enough to get a gap to go on. He's using overtake, using DRS. Of course, Scotty doesn't have DRS in this instance to use, and just did a fastest lap of 112.6, so he definitely has the pace to keep himself in front of Zengen right now. But Zengen is going to have to work a bit overtime just to catch up and get past Scotty here. I see we still have Shorty out in front, still trying to break the gap down back to under a second. He's now 1.4 seconds behind James Al. Chubb has probably gained a few tenths. He was over 3 seconds. He's now about 2.5 seconds behind Shorty's car there. And Scotty is still trying to catch up to Chubb while trying to get away from Zengen here right now. Gap between Chubb and Scotty is 1.4 seconds. Not too big and not too small of a gap to break down, depending on how you think about it here. But it's the more competitive these guys are, the harder a less than a second gap is to break down. As you see, Zengen has been under a second behind Scotty's car for quite a number of laps now, and still not yet able to get around him. We got Booker Bronco in 11 there. He is 11 he's getting another penalty. Edge and Hot Soju getting a penalty as well. They're going to have to avoid those penalties, as it will add up down at the end of the race and make you lose positions more. I see we got James MD getting under half a second, trying to get under half a second actually, behind Carl, Carl is now in the pits actually, chasing. He's changing off his mediums, which are 22 laps old. How he pulled that off, I'm not even sure as yet. And going on to softs now to get down to the end of the race. He's in 10th, going down to 11th now, getting out. He's going to have to work his way back up in the next 13 laps that's remaining in this race right now. And that is Hot Soju with another penalty there. And remember guys, if you do get too many penalties, accumulate a certain amount of penalties, you will be disqualified from the race automatically. Still thinking about why John there was disqualified from the race for being parked in the wrong portion of the track. That was just the start of the race, so I'm not sure if that was an illegal penalty there or not. I'm not even sure how that happens. How can you be parked in the wrong portion of the track on lap 1, which is the opening lap of the race? So we got Shorty getting half a second behind James Al once again. Let's see how this battle is going to go, as I think James Al is about to lap a car there as well. So James are running 13 laps, 14 laps now on those medium tires. Shorty running 8 laps on his hards. And these guys are still going to be going at it. Let's see if Shorty can get a gap to go on here. He's done a good job so far, breaking back the gap down to under a second, getting to about half a second here right now. Let's see if he can keep this going all the way to the end. He's going to start to run out of laps though very shortly here because we're on lap 25 of 36. Just about 11 laps remaining now. Not a lot of time. Actually, that's going to be about maybe 14 minutes at most. 13 minutes up, 12, 13 minutes I would say of racing remaining here. So really much not a lot of time left for Shorty to get this done if he does want to take back the lead of the race. He's probably going to have to just keep the pressure on James all the way through the end. If he's not able to get by, maybe force James into a mistake to probably cut a corner here to invalidate one of his laps to just get a penalty and hope that that can put him up ahead into P1. As he's trying to go around the outside of James right now. Let's see if that's worked out for him. I don't think it has. He might have to just keep it behind James for the moment going here. As he's gotten extremely close though. That was pretty intense going through that first corner there. But if maybe if he had the inside, he would have had a better chance of getting around. But James came back at him. So job not done on Shorty's end there. He did try and go for it though. He's going to have to just compose himself and go for this again. He does have about 30% of ERS to use for overtake if he does need it. He's going to have to keep it for that very important time where he does have DRS and the overtake on to try and get a good go at James here. With James running out in front, he's not going to be able to have DRS. He's going to have to just use his overtake, whatever he has available to him. And with 15 laps on those mediums, let's see if he's going to be able to push another 10 laps on them. Because if James does have to pit here, he's definitely losing out on the lead of the race, and Shorty automatically becomes the race leader, and he's going to be able to finish on his tires. But James there is going to have a very difficult time getting those tires all the way down to the end of lap 36. So I'm quite interested to see what's going to happen here, because it seems that those tires are starting to tell on James's car there, because it can explain why Shorty is able to get so much closer to him now and try to get around either the inside or the outside of his car, because he was doing an excellent job so far of keeping his car ahead of the half a second gap. I think it was just basically a waiting game for Shorty here, just chasing him down, keeping the pressure on, and just making him burn those tires out so he can just get a good gap to go on. Now we got Chubb coming behind. He's 1.7 seconds behind Shorty here right now. He might try and get in on this battle here as well, as James is doing an excellent job though of keeping his car ahead. James out there. He's still keeping his car about half a second ahead of Shorty. He's not allowing him to get a gap to go on here. Let's get on board with Shorty's car for a lap and see how close he's actually getting to James. And he's using all of the overtake he has. Just did a purple sector 3 even. So he's having some excellent lap times here, just still not able to get an overtake done on James Owl. It's starting to look a bit cloudy out there. Hopefully we don't have any rain here interrupt this session. We're having some exciting racing happening, as we're going to stay on board with Shorty's car for the entire of this lap, just to see how close he gets in terms of some of these chicanes here. Now we got Erez getting very close to James MD there now as well. He does seem to get a lot closer coming around to turn 1. As Chubb just gets a fast lap. Nope, it goes to Zenja now, 112.4. Zenja doing a very good job of chasing down Scotty there as well. So Scotty and James driving excellent in this race, because they're both able to keep cars behind them without losing their positions. They're not even allowing the car to get a gap to go on. As we got Shorty about to go on James Owl here again. He is trying so hard for it, but just not getting a good enough gap to get an overtake and make it stick at the moment here. Yeah, Zenjin, they're getting very close to Scotty now. Let's see if he's able to get by. Also, guys, thank you to everyone who has joined on to our stream here today for Rapid Pixel Racing. Let's see, I don't know why that debris is on track still. That's just a little glitch in the game, guys, so just avoid that. And we got Chubb getting into the pits. No, sorry, not Chubb. James Owl getting into the pits right now. So I had to come off those tires. He's now onto fresh softs, and he's going to try and fight his way back up the field in the next 6 laps that's remaining in this race, as we're back with Zenjin chasing down Scotty here right now. So you guys, I was saying just thank you to everyone who has joined onto the stream. I can see from the YouTube control room we've had a lot of viewers on this stream. We'll be able to see that down at the end when we're finished either way. But thank you to everyone who joined on the stream. Everyone, please do leave a like on the video, because we'll keep doing this every week, especially with the support that we're having there. And remember, you can use the when we're on the live stream, you are able to use the super chat and super stickers to support the channel and any drivers that you wish to. And of course, we do have the channel membership starting at $1.99. So if you guys want to join the channel membership, because we're going to have some stuff set up with that pretty soon, that's going to be a little bit of an advantage to you if you are a member of the channel. We do have a channel member already, so thank you guys for that. And let's see what's happening out front. We got Chubb getting very close to Shorty here. They're going side by side through, I think that was turn 1, it is. And let's see if Shorty's about to lose their lead of this race, as Chubb is putting a lot of pressure on him here right now. Alright, so that gap is a bit gone for the time being at least. But with just about 5 laps remaining, Chubb might still have a chance at this if he really pushes a bit hard. We still got Zenjin chasing down Scotty there. I think they were just lapping James MD there. Let's see how that gap is going to play out coming down to the end of this race. On lap 32 now of 36. We still got a few penalties being handed out, so these guys are going to have to be careful about that. Chubb is trying to get that gap under a second behind. Shorty there out in P2 again, trying to fight for the lead of the race if he can, going all the way to the end. We got Zenjin getting very close to Scotty's car. Scotty now running in P3 because James Owl had to pit to get off those very old medium tires, which are definitely not going to make him all the way to the end of the race. He might have just cost himself the entire race if he had continued on that. He's now running P5, 4.6 seconds behind Zenjin. He might try to get in on this battle in the next 2 laps time if he's able to break that gap down. Let's see if he's going to be able to do that. He's on fresh tires, of course, with we got Scotty on 21 lap all hard tires. We got Zenjin on 17 laps all hard tires. Those tires are going to start to give just a little bit there now as we're getting close to the end of the race, especially on Scotty's end. He's doing an excellent job still with 21 laps on those hards and still keeping ahead of Zenjin, not giving him a gap to go on. I think this half a second gap might just stay here until the end of the race if Zenjin is not able to get that overtake done. Chubb having a difficult time out in front there as well to try to get a gap under a second. James Al with a 3-second penalty. So he's trying to fight his way back up here right now and getting a penalty now. 4 seconds. He's lost, actually gained a few tenths, but now actually gained a penalty of 3 seconds there. So that's definitely going to cost him. Definitely not worth it. He's breaking the gap down to Zengen. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get it down in time to get ahead. So it seems we might have just about 12 drivers finishing this race. 18 drivers started. Gleggy, we got Asaf, Ford, Canby Touch, Hot Sojo, and John out of the session. And quite a few drivers with penalties. Booker Bronco with quite a few penalties there as well as Irez and Edger as well. So let's see how that works out for them at the end of the race. James Al has Johnny Stokes behind him, 1 second. So that's going to save him, keeping him finishing in fifth. If it's just the one penalty he has. Zengen and Scotty have been at this at least for 50% of the race, chasing each other down. Well, Zengen chasing down Scotty, that is, for with that half a second gap, and it's just not going anywhere. Chubb has gotten his gap to under a second now, so that's going to be a battle fighting off for the lead of the race there now between the two of them. If Chubb is able to get him overtake done, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get that done as yet, as we've just got on board with Zengen now to see if he's able to get any closer to Scotty's car. Shorty fighting very hard out front to keep the lead of the race, and Zengen going on the outside of Scotty, getting around on lap 35. Scotty goes down to P4 now. He's gonna have to chase down Zengen. His tires might be giving up a little bit on him. Let's see if he's able to get back. His P3 doesn't want to lose out on the podium here. I think he's gonna push it hard as much as he can all the way down for the next 1.5 lap. So that gap seems to keep. Scotty's trying to keep it under a second here, but he's having a difficult time to catch her back. He might have to settle for P4 if he's not able to push his car further enough to get ahead again. Shorty's still trying to keep ahead of a second in front of Chubb's car. Still trying to keep the lead of the race alive here. So it's been an incredible battle here with Shorty and Chubb. We had Shorty and James Al earlier, and then with Zengen and Scotty, quite an interesting race between these 5 guys. I haven't taken a second to think who's going to be getting driver of the day here, but I will have a look at that as we do get to the end of the session here. So on the final lap of the race here now, and it seems we might be finishing as we are at the moment. We got James out with a 1.7 seconds gap between himself and Scotty out in front of him. Of course, he does have a 3-second penalty, so that's going to cost him there, or he could have had a chance to maybe get up and fight for P4, but of course with the last lap of the race now, I don't think it's going to be possible, as we are following along with Shorty right now, coming across the line for pole position. That's a win for him. Chubb going in P2. We got Zengen coming across for P3 and Scotty for P4. Let's see if they're going to keep it as the way they are. It does seem to stay that way for now. James in P5. We got Johnny Stokes who's going to be coming around for P6. Has a bit of way to go as yet though. We got Edger with 12. So he's going to be staying there as he crossed the line already. Booker Bronco might be finishing right there in 11th. Carl in 10th. We got James MD in 9th. Irez in he might be 8th, and Api should be 7th here. Because with the gap that we have, I think he should stay as is. So that was quite an interesting race to watch. We'll be joining with these guys again next week at the very same time for our Same format. We're going to be doing the 30-minute practice session. We'll have the full qualifying and the race. That was quite exciting to watch. 36 laps here at Zandvoort. So look forward to next week on this occasion. We're just going to wait for our final results to be able to come up before we do get to the end of the stream here. All right, so let's head on over to our results. And there we have it. Shorty takes the win. Who got the fastest? Johnny Stokes has the fastest lap of the race. So Shorty takes the win. Chubb gets P2. Zenchin gets P3. Scotty gets P4. James Owl gets P5. Johnny Stokes 6. Avi in 7th. Erez 8. James MD in 9. We got Carl in 10th. We got Booker Bronco in 11th. We got Edge in 12. Gleggy in 13. We got Asaf in 14. Ford 15. Can Be Touched in 16. And John 17. Hot Sojo in 18. And that is it for the Dutch Grand Prix here at Netherlands for Circuit Zandvoort, guys, with Rapid Pixel Racing RPR League. So it was quite an interesting race. I look forward to doing this again next week with the guys. Thank you everyone who joined on to the session, everyone who liked the video. Also, thank you guys so much for that. And feel free to share the stream link out anywhere you would like to have anyone watch a race. The more people we can get watching, the better it's going to be. So once again, thank you guys for joining us, and look forward to again at the next week for this. And please guys, don't forget we have a Formula 2 race with L2S Esports League tomorrow. I think that should be at 9 p.m. BST time, which will be about 4 p.m. Eastern time for me. So look forward to doing that again.